Hi folks, John from Designed Elegance Pastry Shop here. How you doing? Hope you're well. I'm doing really good. So we're going to have a wonderful lesson tonight. Valentine's Day has just passed and we're coming into the spring, and I just wanted to do one last chocolate project before the weather starts to break, and I wanted to do handmade chocolate truffles, raspberry truffles specifically. So for tonight's lesson, this is what we're going to do. We're going to make a filling, which is going to be like a nice rich chocolate ganache with raspberry liqueur added to it. And we're going to then chill that, and then next week we're going to follow up with the scooping and the dipping of the truffle filling to finish off our candies. So that's something to look forward to for the next one. In the meantime, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to get ourselves set up, and we're going to make this filling. So hang on just a moment, please. Hi, folks. Welcome back. Okay, so we've got all of our goodies all set, all of the things that we need to make our ganache filling for our truffles. So let's get started with our cream. We're going to take 1 cup of heavy whipping cream, and I'm going to put it in a saucepan. I'm going to turn it on high heat. And we're going to let this scald. So it's actually going to come to a slow rolling boil. And once it rises up just a little bit, that's when we're going to add our chocolate to it. So this will just take a few minutes. Okay, so we have some action in the pan. We're going to get a closer look with the camera here. I have not disturbed this. I poured it in, I turned the heat on, and as you can see, it's bubbling up. We've already moved past the skin point. Now that it's bubbling up and the whole surface is bubbling, we're going to turn the heat off, and then we're going to add our chocolate. So that's how far you want to take it as far as cooking the cream. And we're actually repasteurizing it. So now what I'm going to do is add 1 bag of chocolate chunks, 1 10-ounce bag. This is, I think, 43% cocoa, so it's nice rich chocolate. It's a little more chocolatey than, say, chocolate chips. So now basically, I don't want to let this sit too long. I've got my heat off, but this pan, this is an electric pot, flat top, so there's still a lot of heat in here, and the chocolate cools off the cream, but then if you leave it on too long, you'll get a little scorch of the chocolate on the bottom of the pan. You want to avoid that. So basically, I'm just stirring it around. I'm letting the chocolate soften up before I start stirring it with my whisk and my spatula. Okay.
So John, what about people at home that have gas?
Well, then basically, you want to turn the heat all the way off and let the pilot go underneath, and let that be the little bit of heat that still keeps it going, keeps it warm. Okay. Basically, the chocolate needs to soften and melt into the cream. So now we're going to start stirring with our whisk. Okay. And I'm being very cautious not to scrape the bottom of the pan too hard. Okay. So now I'm going to pull it off the heat. And I'm basically just stirring it in. See how you got some chunks here? It's perfectly natural. That's what we're looking for. And I'm just stirring it around. Now before it gets all the way done, okay, I'm going to add about a tablespoon cold butter. Okay. Now that's going to draw a little bit of heat out of it, and it's going to melt in gradually. See, so my butter doesn't ever separate. I'm not putting it in the pan with the cream and cooking it. And I let the chocolate draw a lot of the heat out of the cream before I add the butter. See? And it still melts right in. What we're going to do is we're going to mix this until it's basically smooth. But it doesn't need to be constant. We want to let it sit for a second. As we're letting this sit, we might as well add a little bit of liqueur here. Got some raspberry liqueur. It's called, razzmatazz. Chocolate chambord, or raspberry chambord works great. Any raspberry liqueur is going to work great. I'm going to use a nice, very full capful. That's where your flavor is, remember. Okay. You don't want to add too much, though, because if you add too much, then you change the texture of your ganache, and you don't want it to end up being too loose. Okay, but see now, look how that smooths it right out. Okay, now, enough of that. I'm going to use my spatula now. I just got a rubber spatula here. And I'm just going to go around the pan here. Get it nice and clean. Get around all the in the corners. And I'm just going to finish mixing it right here like so. You could be using a wooden spoon too. But eventually you're going to need a spatula to get it all out of the pan. So that's why I just go right to it. Okay, so now basically I'm just going to work this a little bit more until it's completely smooth. What I'm doing is I'm looking at the surface as I stir it around. If I see chunks on the surface, then I know I have a few more chunks that need to melt in. Okay. Doesn't it? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, the folks at home don't know we've got something really special coming up, don't we, John?
Oh, sure. Always. Always something new in the project, on the project list. Things getting worked out. Okay, so I think this is about ready. There's a few little air bubbles and so on, but that's looking pretty smooth and pretty melted in. So I'm just going to pour it off into this pan right here. Make sure to get it all. It's good stuff. See that nice shine? That's the liqueur right there. It's got a beautiful sheen to it. Oh, yeah. I suppose you could stick your finger on there if you wanted. Give it a try. Isn't that yummy? Yeah, I know. Okay, so now I can't do much with this right now as a sauce. But if I chill this, it's going to become nice and solid. So I am going to put some saran wrap on the top. I want to cover the surface, just like so.
Try to get the air out of there.
Yeah, basically you don't want any air. Yeah, basically this protects your filling from getting any condensation on the top. Okay, so that's why I like to put the saran right on top. And plus we're, basically this doesn't need to be dipped right now. This can be dipped in the future. So I have another one that we're going to dip right now. So we're going to chill this, and then we're going to come back. We're going to take a quick break in between. We're going to chill this first, and then we're going to come back with the other batch that I made earlier that's already chilled now, so we can begin scooping and finishing. Okay? So excuse us just for a moment, and we'll be right back. Thank you.